Hey y'all, it's well, my name is Sean Halifant, also known as Kane, also known as Big Daddy Cosplay, or BDK. I got a lot of AKAs. I had said that I was going to go ahead and start this YouTube channel because I just want to go ahead and just talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about, right? So for anybody who's interested in watching and listening, here I am. This is my channel. I'm gonna randomly speak about whatever the fuck is on my mind. So enjoy. All right, hopefully it's a fun ride. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully, like I do a lot of videos, and what I'm saying, become the next YouTube star. Doubt it, but whatever, right? Anyway, I'm here today because I want to speak specifically about the 2020 Eagles football season, right? Because there's a lot of people talking right now, and let's first put this out there, right? The Philadelphia Eagles stink right now. They suck, right? And there's merited reasons for that, right? Bad coaching, bad drafting, bad quarterback play, bad defense. You know what I'm saying? It's been all over the place. The kicker can't kick. Everything that could have gone wrong with this Eagles season has gone wrong, right? Now, I'm here to tell you why, right? Because there are specific reasons. Like we can sit here and we can start with the big elephant in the room that is, I think, very important to the whole thing. And if you don't talk about it, you're doing a disservice to everything. Let's be intelligent and not act like the pandemic that we currently find ourselves in. COVID has had an effect, right, on not only how this team has done, but I think you could go ahead and make the argument COVID has had an effect on the whole of the National Football League in different ways, right? That's the number one point. Now I don't want to sit here and and talk too long about that, but when you don't really have practices, you don't have a preseason. Training camp is weird because of everything that's been happening. There's the reason that some teams are probably going to struggle. Now this has been just an absolutely horrible season for the NFC East. The whole fucking division stinks. But I'm not going to talk about them. I want to sit here and talk about Philadelphia Eagles football because that's what I represent. That's who I love, and that's what I want to talk about. And there's reasons that I've written down as to why they stink, right? Because everybody has their things that they think they know and why and all like that. And I'm gonna sit here and say a good majority of you are just talking out your ass because you don't know football, and that's fine. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to educate you, right? So I've made a list of the reasons why the 2020 Eagles stink, right? So the first part is most important. Coaching matters, right? Coaching matters, right? So if we sit here and we talk about the 2020 Eagles team, right? And you sit here and you talk about your quarterback Carson Wentz, my quarterback, right? I love Carson Wentz, but right now he stinks, right? It is incumbent upon you as head coach, as an offensive head coach, to figure out why your quarterback stinks and fix it, right? That's coaching, right? if you've watched an Eagles game this year, I want you to ask yourself: have you ever seen anybody talking to Carson on the sideline? Like after a bad play, if you sit here and you look around all the game broadcasts and all like that. For instance, like let's say Aaron Rodgers, right, for the Green Bay Packers, right? He messes up on a play, right? There's somebody walking over to him, showing him, a tablet of something that he missed. You know what I'm saying? I never see anybody walking over to Carson, talking to him, showing him a tablet. Never see that, right? You have to constantly coach your players, especially your quarterback during the course of a game. You know what I'm saying? It's constant course correction, right? I just don't see that, right? Play calling, play designing, right? Doug Peterson, the Philadelphia Eagles head coach, so he is the offensive-minded head coach who also calls the plays and is directly responsible for the development of the starting franchise quarterback, right? So here's the deal, right? If get the fuck out of here. Squirrel. If your quarterback is not doing well, that's upon you as the offensive head coach to figure it out, fix it, and maybe do things to go ahead and make him better. You know what I'm saying? To this point, and to be quite frank and honest, to this point in the last couple of years, what can you sit here and say that Doug Peterson has done to help Carson become a better quarterback, right? I'm going to sit here and tell you nothing. And for that reason, Doug Peterson needs to be fired, right? And, certainly I think if they miss the playoffs and they continue going down this road, you, Mr. Jeffrey Lurie, the owner of the Eagles football team, it's incumbent upon you to go ahead and make these hard decisions that are yours to make. You need to fire Howie Roseman. You need to fire Doug Peterson. Let's start over. Let's get somebody in there who can go ahead and actually help Carson become a better quarterback, and let's get this thing popping, right? Because this thing that we're looking at right now is not good. It sucks. There's not a single Eagles fan that is happy with this situation, and quite frankly, we deserve better, right? Now I'm going to sit here and explain to you again that whole portion of coaching matters, right? Carson's best year, right, was the 2017 season where he was an MVP candidate, and he had Frank Reich as his offensive coordinator, right? Now, I'm not going to sit here and go over Frank Reich's resume right now. He's the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, and they've done pretty well since he's taken over as head coach, right? He's had 3 different quarterbacks in the end, and they've each had pretty good seasons. You know what I'm saying? I'll also be able to sit here and confidently tell you the reason that the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2017 in the first place is not only because of the season that Carson Wentz was having, but they were able to go ahead and figure out what worked for Nick Foles, right? And they were able to go ahead and put Nick Foles in a position to be comfortable and to have the best season possible, right? Nick Foles was amazing in that playoff run, specifically, not so much the Atlanta game, right? But we all remember the job he did with against Minnesota. Cooked them, right? And then obviously in the Super Bowl, outdoing Tom Brady to bring the Eagles their first championship in the modern Super Bowl era. Coaching matters, right? You know what else matters? Talent, right? That goes directly to Howie Roseman, which is why I say he should be fired, right? This dude has not built a great football team around our franchise quarterback. You can clearly see that. The offensive line is old and broken down. We don't have receivers. We don't have, corners. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? There's no homegrown talent. When's the, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like this team, the core of this team should be guys that got drafted here, are growing up here, and you know what I'm saying? Just like during the Andy Reid era. Now let's talk about that, right? When I sit here and I tell you coaching matters, right? And again, this is directly, you know, like goes directly back to the piss poor job that Doug Peterson is doing with our franchise quarterback, right? How do you think Carson Wentz would look right now if he was in Indianapolis Colts? If he was the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, right? You think he'd look pretty good under Frank Reich? I think so. I think he would absolutely flourish. How do you think he'd look with Andy Reid? Right? You know what I'm saying? Andy Reid's only like, you know, like cultivated the career of Donovan McNabb, and he's got this beast of a quarterback over there in Kansas City called Patrick Mahomes. You think Andy Reid wouldn't, like, you know, have Carson Wentz be a better quarterback right now? You know, how about Sean McVay, right? Oh, you know what? Let's go to a couple other guys, you know, that may not even be getting the props that they deserve for the job that they're doing. The dude in Cleveland, Kevin Stefanski, head coach of the Cleveland Browns, right? Now, is Baker Mayfield a world beater? No. But he's been able to maximize the things that Baker Mayfield does well, right? As well as do things to make Baker Mayfield as comfortable as possible, where Baker Mayfield doesn't have to go ahead and be pressured to go out and win the game, right? He structured an offense around the strength of the football team, and the strength is the offensive line and the running backs. So you know what they do? They run the fucking football, right? They will run the football 45 times a game, right? That's what they did to the Eagles this past Sunday, right? Again, right? I want to sit here and, like, you know, make the point, right, about how coaching matters, right? And when you have a scheme and you play to your scheme, those things will work because you're leaning on what you do best, right? The Browns came out this past Sunday and they pounded the rock against us, right? Even when it wasn't working. For 3 quarters, we held them to 1.7 yards a carry, right? That fourth quarter, you know what I'm saying? Because when you run the football, right, you know, you're not running the football so much to win a game, but, like, you know, if that's your offense, that's your offense, right? Because here's the deal, right? And I think there's a lot of people who would agree with me when I say this. You know, you have a pretty good running back in Nick Chubb, and also his backup Kareem Hunt. Nick Chubb is like 6'2", 245, right? You got a guy like that leaning on you for 4 quarters. By the time you get to that fourth quarter, you're going to break, and that's exactly what happened, right? We held them in check for the most part for most of that football game, right? And then in the fourth quarter, those runs that we were holding them to 2 yards a carry, those yards became 4 yards a carry, right? And then those yards became 5 yards a carry, 6 yards a carry, and then broke off a 55-yarder. The minute they broke off that 55-yarder in that game, Nick Chubb did. I knew our defense was done, right? Again, going back to coaching of Doug Peterson, right? You know, now injuries are one thing, but, you know, when you don't really have an identity that you've established as your football team's identity to be able to go ahead and lean on is the thing you do well to go ahead and do the best that you can to win football games. Successful coaches do that, right? You look at the situation in Pittsburgh last year. They lost Ben Roethlisberger last year, right? For a good portion of the year, right? Now, you know, they had a bad year, right? They didn't make the playoffs. However, right, they were still able to go ahead and, like, you know, be competitive and actually win some games. And actually, while they didn't make the playoffs, they were still able to keep themselves somewhat in the hunt, right? Because they relied on their identity. You know what I'm saying? Their identity was playing great defense and running the football, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, and that's the problem when it comes to this football team. We don't have a fucking identity, right? Again, that goes down to the head coach, right? Doug Peterson needs to be fired, right? He's not the offensive mind that we thought we were getting. And while we're at it, we need to fire Howie Roseman. I think I said this before, for not building a good enough football team to rely on this identity that we want to try and create. And on top of that, obviously, I think it goes without saying, Jim Schwartz needs to go. So we just need to go ahead and just clean the whole damn thing, and start over with some new coaches. You know what I'm saying? With some new ideas, some new processes, some new players, because we need that. Because this team is relying on older guys and guys who just aren't good enough, right? Again, I can't stress to you enough. Coaching matters, right? Now, I did go ahead and I made a bunch of notes about this whole thing, but the long and short of it is that there are specific reasons as to why the situation is what it is. The bottom line is this football team fucking sucks, right now, right? And that hurts me to say that because I bleed eagle green, right? But there are specific reasons why this team sucks, right? And there's a lot of you who just you run around, you talk, you don't really know football, right? I'm giving you tangible, logical reasons why this situation is what it is, right? And it just doesn't go down to the point that they just suck. There's a reason why they suck, right? You know what I'm saying? Again, coaching matters, right? There's a whole lot that goes into building a football team and establishing a winning culture, and all those things that come along with being able to be a good football team in the National Football League, right? You see the teams who consistently do it well. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the New England Patriots, the Seattle Seahawks, the Green Bay Packers, right? Those teams that are constantly always there, right? You know why that is, right? I'll tell you why. There's foundational points there. Quarterback, coach, organization, identity, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. We haven't really had any of those four strong point things since Andy Reid left, right? And I'm not sitting here saying that Andy Reid should have stayed. It was probably time for him to go. But the point is you look at what we've had since then. We lost the Andy Reid greatest era of Eagles football. We went to Chip Kelly, that was a fucking flim-flam man, right? And now we've got Doug Peterson, who dude, I respect him. He helped bring us our only chip to Philly, but he's not a good coach. And that hurts me to say that because I actually thought we were getting that guy. You know what I'm saying? Doug Peterson's not a good football coach, right? And there's a lot of reasons that I've seen over the last couple of years that have just led me to believe that he's just not a good football coach, right? And there's, look, the offense sucks. Guys don't get better. That's player development. And then you got to go ahead and you add Howie Roseman into the thing by not getting the right players. There's a reason for all of this, all right? So, long story short, because I'm going to go ahead and end this now, all right? Educate yourself on football before you start talking about it, right? You know what I'm saying? Because, again, a lot of you people out there, you talk about football and, your quick go-to is just go ahead and just, leave it down to the simple, yet, not critically thought out point of this football team stinks. They suck. That's what you say, all right? You know what I'm saying? Or you'll sit here and you'll say things like, oh, they get played they get paid so much money. They're like, dude, first off, fuck the money, right? All right. You know, you think in terms of like the job that you go to and you do every day, right? If your job, your bosses, right, don't give you all the tools that you need to be successful on a daily basis with what you do, right? Are you gonna have a great day? Are you gonna do well at your job? Probably not, right? You know, so like I know it's an easy go-to to sit here and like, you know, look at somebody else's paycheck. First off, why are you counting somebody else's? You know what I'm saying? Why are you in somebody else's pockets? You know what I'm saying? Shut the fuck up, all right? Get out of people's pockets. Don't worry about somebody else's cash, right? What the money that somebody else is making has no basis, you know, on any of this, right? You know what I'm saying? You got guys out there like, you know, like busting their ass to try to go ahead and like, you know, make plays, right, and get this thing done, right? But when, you know, all parts of this machine aren't working, right, you know, it's just not gonna go, right? There's always reasons for why these things fall off the rail. Some of them have to do with injuries, ineffectiveness, bad coaching, and in some cases, hey, look, sometimes guys just can't play. You know what I'm saying? So the thing that I'll leave you with is, you know, when it comes in terms of how we judge this football team, yes, right now they do stink, but I would invite you to go ahead and stop and think critically about what the reasons are, right? I've given you a lot to chew on, a lot to think about, and I hope you do go ahead and really think about that, because there are tangible reasons, like, you know, why this team stinks right now, right? And that's it, right? I'm gonna still watch every Sunday because that's just what I do, right? I'm an Eagles fan, right? I live and die with this football team. I will never trade up. I will never go and root for another team because they're not good. You know what I'm saying? I will always stand with this football team. But, my challenge to you, Jeffrey Lurie, is you need to go ahead and get the guys in there to go ahead and get this thing right? Stop fucking around. Get a bona fide general manager in here. Get a new coach. Let's draft correctly. Let's have an identity as a football team, and let's get this thing rolling, because we should be one of the teams that they talk about every year that's always there. We should be one of the Green Bays. We should be one of the Seattles. We should be one of the New Englands. We should be one of the Pittsburghs. We should be one of the Baltimores. That's what we should be. That's what we deserve, and God damn it, that's what you need to give to us. All right. So that's it. That's me. All right. So it's your boy. I was actually about to say something else. All right. So it's your boy. You know, Sean Oliphant, aka Kane, aka Big Daddy Cosplay, aka BDK. This is my YouTube video, the first of hopefully many. All right, so you know, I apparently I was talking too much. So again, I don't remember what the fuck I just said before the joint cut off. But in any event, like I said, you know, I need you guys to think critically in terms of this football team. And again, hopefully this is the first of many videos that I make, and you know, just sit here and just get my fucking thoughts out and just say whatever the fuck I'm thinking on my brain, and that's it, right? So, yeah, that's it, right? Holla at your boy. I'm out.